Hey guys, my name is Silk Jasmine. Thank you for coming to my live reading of the part two of Choose Your Ending. I'm really excited about reading this story to you guys. It was a fun story to write. It was a fun story to read the first half. Um, so if you read the story, or even if you didn't, basically it's about these two women that are pretty much building their own baby, and they have this technology that they're building their own baby, and then they get to the end, and they're altering their baby, and they're doing these different things, and they get told that they either can choose to keep the babies, keep one baby and take a chance, or either just reconsider the whole thing. So um, the option that won was reconsidering the whole thing, pretty much to choose no baby instead of taking a chance on one child. I actually was really excited to see that this was the ending that was chosen because I hadn't really shared this ending with a lot of people, so I really was excited. So, thank you guys so much for joining us here at Kitchen Table. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the ending of this story. We couldn't make a choice, so we chose neither. We decided not to proceed with the incubation. It took us a week to tell Marjorie, who assured us that the success of one birth would be incredibly high. But we just couldn't move forward with one, knowing that there could have been two. We were informed that only a third of our investment could be returned. Investment. That's what Build a Baby Corporate coined it. We've received calls nonstop from their legal department, marketing department, application department, and installation department. A bunch of conversations asking the same questions for the different reports. Marjorie informed us that the incubator couldn't be picked up for at least 2 weeks because the trucks were unavailable until then. We had to close the door to the nursery until they came. I couldn't pass it without tearing up, my heart feeling like it was rattling my ribs to get out, my pulse pounding on my eardrums. Nora and I stopped having our morning tea. We stopped having our mornings together. No steaming mugs, no catching up on the day before, no spoken intentions for an upcoming day. It was a Wednesday when Marjorie and her team came to remove the incubator. There were software firewalls that had to be reversed, and interfacing that no longer was needed. We also returned the backup generator. Nora wasn't home that day, didn't request off. The two men struggled to lift the incubator. Scrawny young men. Please be careful, Marjorie told them. That's build a baby property, and your payment will be affected if there's any damage. She looked at me. I'm so sorry this didn't work out, she told me. You two were just such amazing candidates. Thanks. Where's Nora, by the way? Work. This will be our last time seeing one another, she said. Wish I could have said goodbye to her in person. Yeah, was the last thing I said to her as the men packed up all the wires and proceeded to finish moving all the remnants of the machine. I stood in the room, staring in the corner where the incubator had been. Baby offered us a credit, said they'd keep a balance on file since twins weren't notated in our clause. There was a box of toys on the far wall, a wooden chest full of my and Nora's baby toys, combined with newer store bought ones. They'd already been opened, disinfected. The store probably wouldn't take any of them back. I grabbed one of the boxes in the corner and began to box up all the supplies: baby wipes, clothes, bibs, bottles. I tried not to cry. I really did, roughly rubbing away the tears with the back of my hand. But when I got to the booklet of features, I let loose. That's where Nora found me, sobbing on the floor of the nursery. She stood in the doorway like a barrier was keeping her out. There were boxes in the middle of the room, the crib and rocking chair untouched. She looked as though she was standing on a shore and I was out at sea, like I was close enough for her to recognize, but too far away for her to really see. My wife had that habit, the ability to completely shut down at a drop of a dime, at any moment when she felt emotionally flooded. I often admired her about that, loved her ability to always remain level headed, but she wasn't there. She was cold and quiet, nothing like the woman I'd married, or rather, like the woman I decided to accept. Her arms were crossed, hair pulled back into a ponytail, face painted on. She was wearing her armor. She didn't come to me, didn't console me. She silently walked away. I fell asleep in the nursery that night. When I awoke the next morning, I finished my task. I spent the day out of the house, donating the furniture, smaller belongings. And when I returned, the nursery was already back to its pearl white that existed before. Nora was covered in paint, eyes bloodshot and empty. I wasn't sure that I knew who she even was. Like she had the same hair and body as my wife, but her face was changed, harder, like she aged at least 10 years in just a few weeks. I didn't have any witty banter, no words to bring back my wife or either of the children we'd never get to meet. We were perfect for each other once. Not perfect in the sense of an inability to do no wrong, but perfect the way that even worn puzzle pieces lock into one another. We changed in a way that I wasn't sure could ever be reversed. I couldn't help but wonder how our life would have been if we never, ever tried to build a baby. So that's the ending of the story. Yes, very somber. I mean, it's a tough choice. It's definitely a tough choice. So that was it. Short, sweet. Thank you guys for joining Kitchen Table, and so glad that you guys came on this ride. So glad that you guys read the story and you made a choice. And I'm just excited that you guys shared in this narrative with me. So thank you guys a lot. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.